Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the class on operation research. So, in this class, we'll continue discussion on simplex method. So, simplex method already we have started in last few classes. We started solving them. So, guys, if you see in today problem in simplex method, we have three variables. So, I believe so till now, whatever the problems we have solved in the past, we solved where only we had two decision variables. So when we had two decision variables, we can simultaneously solve the problem either by graphical method, or we can solve the problem by using simplex method, or we can solve the problem either by using MS Excel solver. That advantage we had, okay, because we had two variables. But when we have three variables, then we cannot employ a graphical method to get the answer for the problem. Okay, everyone. So you can either solve this problem by MS Excel solver, or you can solve this problem by using simplex method. I'm not too much going to emphasize on MS Excel solver because again, in exam, you can't use that Excel solver to get the answer. So we need to learn more appropriate method to get the answer, and that is using the simplex method. So whenever we talk about simplex method, what we do when we have a simplex method problem, guys, we need to make sure that our objective function is maximization. Okay, so for simplex method to work on, please remember that for simplex method, please remember for the simplex method, when we are trying to solve the problem by simplex method, for the simplex method, the objective function for the simplex method, the objective function what we have, the objective function must be maximization. For the simplex method, the objective function must be maximization. Your objective function must be maximization. So this should be your objective function. That your objective function must be maximization. Okay, the next thing in the simplex method, the constraint should be of less than or equal, and the constraint should be of less than or equal to sign. The constraint should be of less than or equal to sign. So in order to solve the problem by using simplex method, your objective function should be maximization, and then your constraint should be either less than or equal to. Okay. If you have a constraint with more than or equal to, then you need an alternate approach of simplex method, which is called Big M method. Then we'll solve the problem by using Big M method. So right now, I'm not going to discuss about Big M method or dual penalty method. So what I'm going to discuss, I'm going to talk on the basic problems on simplex method. So we normally, whenever you have a problem on simplex method, always understand that in the case of simplex method, your objective function is always maximization. In case of simplex method, when you see your objective function, it is always maximization, and your constraint are always of less than or equal to sign. So I hope this part is clear to all of you. And once you see that your objective function is maximization and constraint are of less than or equal to, you're good to solve it by using simplex method. So in order to solve the problem by simplex method, what we look into the inequalities, we look into the constraint. So how many constraints are there? That much variable will introduce into the problem. So we look into that in the constraint. We look into in the constraint what we see how many constraints are there. So if we see in this problem, we have two constraints. So I'll introduce two slack variable. Okay, to convert the linear inequation into linear equation. This much part, everyone clear, right? Everyone clear with this much part, right? So if you see in this problem, so if you see in this problem that introducing two slack variable, two introducing two slack variable, introducing two slack variables, for example, dot is1 and s2, in the constraint, introducing two slack variables S1 and S2 in the problem to convert in the problem to convert linear to convert the linear inequation to convert the linear inequation of the constraint to convert the linear inequation of the constraint to convert the linear inequation of the constraint into equations to convert the linear inequation of constraint into linear equation. Okay, to and then representing the problem in standard form, and then representing the problem, and then I am representing the problem, and then representing the problem in standard form, then representing the problem in the standard form. Then I'm representing the problem in the standard form. Okay, so then I'm representing this problem in the standard form. What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to convert the linear inequation of variable into linear equation, and then I'm representing them into the standard form. Clear, everyone? Why two slack variable? Because we have two constraints. Whatever the number of constraints we have, that many slack variable we introduce. Ultimately, we want to convert this problem into linear equation. So once we are done with this, now what we'll write? Once we are done with this, then what we'll do? Now I'll write the problem. Now, once we are done with this, now I'll write the problem like this in the standard form. The problem in the standard form. So once we're done with this, we'll write the problem in the standard. So to write the problem in the standard form, what we do, we simply write maxima of z equal x1 plus x2 plus 3x3. Maxima of z is equal to x1 plus x2 plus 3x3, subject to constraint. So first constraint is 3x1 plus 2x2 plus x3 plus s1 is equal to 3, and then 1 plus x2 plus 2x3 plus s2 is equal to 2, where x1, 2, s1, s2, x3 all should be greater than or equal to 0. And here you can write plus 0 s1 plus 0 s2. Clear everyone? Anyone, any doubt? Anyone, any doubt? Once we write them once we write them in this form, once we write them in this form, once we write them in this form, now what I can do, I can convert the given problem into standard form. So I can convert the given problem into standard form. If I'm trying to convert the given problem into standard form, then what I'll do, if I'll convert the given problem into standard form, what we'll do, if we'll try to convert the given problem to standard form, what we'll do, we can write this as like x1, x2, x3, s1, s2, okay, and then we can write as x1, x2, x3, then s1, s2, then this is equal to, then this is equal to 3 comma 2 standard form. Write down the coefficient 3 2 1 1 0, then 2 1 2 0 1. This will be a standard form. Clear everyone? Anyone, any doubt? Clear everyone? Anyone have any doubt? Guys, others, please respond. Anyone, any doubt? So you understood, right? When the problem, you understood, right? Whenever we, so whenever we get the problem, you understand, right? What we do whenever we have a problem, we look into the problem, what we have. Okay, so this problem, when we look into that, in this problem, we have two constraints. So because we had two constraints, so we'll introduce two slack variables. And when we talk about these slack variables, we need to make sure that these slack variables are dummy variable having no value. Okay, and then at the same time, what we need to make sure that they should be non-negative values. Okay, so whenever we solve the problem, we need to make sure our problem is based on maximization. And next thing is that the constraint should be less than or should have less than or equal to sign. So based upon that, we introduced two slack variable because we had two constraints, and then we wrote them in standard form like this. Okay, everyone. Now what we'll do by using iteration table, we'll try to solve this problem. So now we'll take the help of iteration table to solve this problem. So when you look into the problem, you had the problem like maxima of z is equal to x1 plus 3x3 plus 0s1 plus 0s2 subject to constraints. Subject to constraint. What are the constraints we have? We have 3x1 plus 2x2 plus x3 plus s1 is equal to 3. We have second constraint, 2x1 plus x2 plus 2x is equal to 2, where x1, x2, x3, s1, s2, they should be greater than or equal to 0. We know this very well. Okay, so based upon this, what we'll do, we'll create the iteration table. Based on this, what we'll do, we create the iteration table. We'll create the iteration table. Okay, so you see this here at the top of iteration table. Write down your variable x1, x2, x3, s1, s2, and then here write RHS. Here write your slack variable s1 and s2. S1 both are dummy variable S1 and S2. Okay, so having zero values, here you can write three coefficient 3, 2, 1, 1, 0. Here write the coefficient 2, 1, 2, 0, 1. Write down the RHS 3 and 2. Done everyone? Done everyone? Okay, this is called CI value. CI value, write down the coefficient of objective function 1 1 3 0 0. So once we get this, now if you find now once we get this, if you find your zi value, if you find your zi value, if you find your zi value, guys, the first zi value, what you will find, that will always be 0. Okay, so you need to focus on ci minus zi value. What is ci value? You know, this is ci value, ci minus zi value, because that will ultimately will tell you which variable is actually entering into the solution. If you get to know which variable is entering into the solution, you get to know by looking at the ci minus zi value that which variable is actually entering into the solution. You can understand that which is entering into the solution, that variable is actually now going to replacing which variable. So for that, you can look into the theta. So theta here is 3 divided by 1, that is 3. The theta here is 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1. Look into these values. See the corresponding values of the which is going to enter into the solution, and divide that value from the RHS and ultimately find theta. So see the theta, where the theta is minimum. See for which corresponding to what value theta is minimum. So theta is minimum. The theta is minimum for S2. The theta is minimum for S2, means S2 is going to replace, S2 is going to leave the solution, and S2 is going to replace by X3. Clear everyone? Means X is going to replace by X3. So that we need to understand, that we need to find. So okay, once we find that part, then what we'll do here, S1 is there 0 coefficient, and then X3 is there 3 coefficient 3. So what is the pivot element? Pivot element will be 2, because 2 is the value which is corresponding to X3 and X2. So what you will do, divide all the element of now of X3 to get the new values of X3, divide all the element of X2 by 2. So 2 divided by 2, 1, 1 divided by 2, 1 by 2, 2 divided by 2, 1, 0 divided by 2, 0, 1 divided by 2, 1 by 2, 2 divided by 2, 1. You understood this, right? So now you got this. Now what you have to do, now see the, now I have to find the value of S1. So see the old element of S1. So see the old element of S1. So that was 3 2 1 1 0 3. That was the old values, right? Okay, now this values to be replaced by the new element. So the new element which is of X3, see its values, that is 1, 1 by 2, then 1, then 0, then 1 by 2, and then 1. Okay, you know this, right? We are doing this from last so many days. Simplex method. Okay, so first write down the old values, whatever the old values of S1 was there, you write down those values. Okay, now see the new values of X3. Okay, that we call a new element. And the constant here would be, what would be the constant here? What is the constant here? What would be the constant, guys? What is the constant here? For S1, when you're trying to find the, what is the constant, guys? Constant would be 1, right? Your constant would be equal to 1. You can use the formula for S1 value, that is old element minus new element. So that is 3 minus 1, 2, 2 minus 1 by 2. So that is 3 by 2, 1 minus 1, 0. This is 1 minus 1 by 2, and this is 2. Very good, Rajendra. So once you get this, then this is 2, then 3 by 2, then 0, then 1, minus 1 by 2, and once we are done with this, find Zi value. Zi value 0 into 2 plus 3 into 1, then 0 into 3 by 2 plus 3 into 3 by 2, then this is 3, then this is 0, this is 3 by 2, and find Ci minus Zi. Ci minus Zi, Ci minus Zi 1, Ci minus 3 minus Ci minus Zi minus 2, 1 minus 3, 1 minus 3 by 2, minus 1 by 2, 3 minus 3, 0. Then you have 0, and then you have minus 3 by 2. 1 minute. This is X3 coefficient is 3, right? Yeah, 3, 1 minus 3, minus 2, 1 minus 1 by 2. That is 1.5, right? 3 by 2. 3 minus 2. Okay, then I'm getting all negative, all 0 only. So here if you notice, all Ci minus Zi, you are getting either 0 or either negative. So I told you we'll solve the problem. Till the time we don't get the all Ci minus Zi values either 0 or negative. Here if you notice, your Ci minus Zi value is all 0 or either negative, means you get the feasible solution. Okay, so you can find the maximum value also. Maximum value, if you find, that would be equal to 3 only. So the answer for the problem, if you see the answer for the problem, your x1 is 0, your x2 is 0, your x3 is equal to 1, and the maximum value of z is equal to 3. This is your final answer. So we'll solve the problem. Whenever we are solving the problem, we'll solve the problem only till that stage that all our Ci minus Zi that should be either 0 or either negative. The moment we get Ci minus Zi value, all 0 or negative, done. We don't need to solve it further. Anyone, any doubt? Anyone, any doubt, any question? X1, X2 value, see, Reshma, uh, like what we do, Reshma, when we start solving this problem, that's why I tell you people to watch the recording of the class. Every class at the end of the day, I do recording and I'll post, and I expect you people to watch. When I see later on how many people saw, hardly 1% or 2%, hardly. In this class, only around 50 students are there. And imagine in this from this class, only 1% or 2% watch. Next class, when I'll teach how the people will understand. Anyway, forget that part. Now coming back to this problem. Now when we see this problem, here what we do, we always start solving the problem with slack variables. Okay, we start the problem with slack variable on left hand side, and then what we do, we try to remove the slack variable one by one, by one decision variable. Okay, and we do this process till the time all our Ci minus Zi is either 0 or either negative. Okay, so here, like, it was very strange to observe that I simply replace the S2 by X3. Okay, I simply replace the S2, I replace the S2 by X3. Okay, so I replace the S2 by X3. So only one time I follow the iteration table, and after this iteration table only I'm getting all 0 and negative. It means I got the feasible solution. It means if you observe which variable is actually participated, if you observe only one variable is actually participated, that is X3. And the corresponding value of X3 was 1. And the corresponding value of X3 was 1. Here you see there is no participation of X1 or X2. So we can't find their values. No. If they have not participated, means that means they are 0 only. If they have not participated, means they are 0 only. And I can find the maximum value of Z, which is sum total of this, which is equal to 3. And this will give you the answer. Okay, now see this problem. Write down this problem. This will be homework. I cannot. The maximum of Z is equal to 15x1 plus 6x2 plus 9x3 plus 2x4 subject to constraint. X1 plus x2 plus 5x3 plus 6x4 is less than or equal to 20. Then 3x1 plus x2 plus 3x3 plus 24x4 equal less than equal to 24. 7x1 plus x4 is less than equal to 70. Then x1, x2, x3, x4, that should be greater than equal to 0. This is your question. Solve this problem, guys. This will be your homework. Try to solve this question. Let me know your answer. I'll tell you the final answer. Your final answer is your final answer will be maxima of z is equal to 132. X1 is 4. X2 is equal to 12. Your X3, X4 are 0. You solve this problem. This much we'll do today. Okay, this much we'll do today. We'll continue discussion tomorrow. Anyone, any doubt? Thank you, everyone.